Alrighty, so as I started saying, what we're going to be covering today, there's two types of charge accounts, balance forward and open item. We're going to talk about how to handle these payments on both accounts, the difference between posting payments and applying them, and then how to actually execute both posting a payment and applying a payment, and then the difference in how the statements look at the end of the month that your customers will receive. First, we're going to start with balance forward. Balance forward is the default accounting method inside Paladin Point of Sale. About 95% of these accounts will be balanced forward. Account payments inside balance forward are applied, or posted to the balance statement, not specific invoices. So with that said, your balance forward account is going to take a lot less time than your open item, making your job a lot easier at the end of the day. Open item accounts are used generally for accounts such as schools, government, churches, certain business facilities where you very specifically have to pay per invoice. So for example, someone will send you a check 123 is being paid on invoice 456. So because of that, there are extra steps involved, and it's a lot more time consuming than your balance forward. Payments can be accepted inside two modules inside Paladin, in the customer service or the customer module and the invoice and quote module. Okay. Open item account payments, as I stated, there are two different steps that you have to take. The first step is identical to balance forward, and then you have to go into additional steps under the payment management screen under the customer module, which I'm going to show you here in just a second. Okay, I'm going to swap over to Paladin here so we can expand on these types of accounts. Under this customer module, for example, I have a customer here, customer 316, their name is Test 1. Under this credit tab is where you're going to define whether this customer is a balanced forward or an open item. In this case, this customer is a balanced forward item. Now again, a balanced forward is going to be someone who simply pays in full on the statement balance versus per invoice. Okay? And this is where these two vocabularies come in for posting and applying a payment. Let's say customer test 1 comes in and needs to make a payment on the account. As stated, we can do it two different ways, in the customer module or in the invoice and quote module. Now, a caveat to the customer module, okay? You can only accept payments via check or money order under the customer module. So we go down here to F5 or the account payment button. We select that, and this screen is going to come up. As you can see, it's going to default to the amount in full that they owe. With balance forward, 99% of the time, they will be paying the entire balance forward, or the entire balance due. So you put in the check number here, hit accept, and then just for extra precautionary measures, I like to hit save again, just to make sure that it does indeed save. Now, when it comes to balance forward, you're done. You no longer have to take any more accounting steps. When it comes to balance forward, Paladin automatically applies those payments for you from the oldest invoice up. Now let's pull up customer test 2, customer 317. This customer has been defined as an open item customer, okay? We're going to do the same steps as we did before to, remember, post a payment, which is under account payment here. We're going to go ahead and post a payment of $61.06. Actually, let's do it this way. From the invoice and quote screen, so you guys can see the difference between the two. Under the invoice and quote screen, we're going to select customer 317, and they come in and they talk to a normal cashier and says, hey, I need to go ahead and make a payment. We select account payment, and we put in the payment amount. In this case, it's $61.06. Then we hit checkout, and then we select the type of payment that they are going to pay with. In this case, it's cash, credit card, or check. Let's say they bring in cash. We complete the transaction. Now, as stated before, we have extra steps that we need to use in order to utilize open item accounts. So we're going to go back into our customer module, and we're going to select F6, Payment Management. Now, this screen should only be used if these accounts are open item accounts. Payment Management is where you apply these payments. As you can see, this screen is going to show your credit invoices, which is also known as your payment, and it's also going to show any outstanding invoices that they may have. In order to apply a payment, whether it's the full amount or partial, we're going to double-click on Payment Applied, and then we're going to enter the amount due. So in this case, they paid the full amount of the $61.06, and so we're going to enter in $61.06 and hit Enter, and then as you can see, everything completely goes away. That shows that there are no current outstanding invoices. If you ever need to check your work inside Payment Management and you're not sure what got applied to what, there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. Both under credit invoices and charge invoices, you can select Show All, and as you can see, there are several different payments here. None of them in this case have any unused credit, so meaning nothing hasn't been applied. But here, you can also see the details of what has been applied and where by clicking on these magnifying glasses. What that's going to do, that's going to show the very specific invoice, so the payment invoice number, the date it got applied, and how much actually did get applied. If the full amount did not get applied, it would show under this unused credit aspect of things. You can also hit this Applied Credit History button, and what that's going to do is going to bring up a report inside Adobe in a PDF form that's going to show very specifically all of the applied payments to which invoices. If you're ever unsure or if your customer needs that report for whatever reason for their record, you can look at it that way too. And go back to the slides here. Okay. So as I stated, we're starting to cover just this part here. Okay. Posting and applying. This is a common misconception in the world of Paladin. Posting is done with both balanced forward and open item. You're done with the accounting side of things just by posting the payment with your balanced forward account. Okay, you can do that inside the customer module or the invoice and quote. Step 2, applying the payment. That is literally only used for an open item account. You never want to apply a payment if the account has been deemed balanced forward. Okay? And as I showed you, under that payment management screen is where you're going to go ahead and apply those payments. Statements are going to look different depending on the type of accounting that you have. So, for example, balanced forward is just simply going to show charge, payment, charge, payment. And then if there is a balance due at the bottom, it's going to show that balance due. Open item has a similar layout, but what it'll do, it will show the very specific invoices that are still open versus just the entire balance due. So if you're an open item account, you can go back and look and say, okay, this invoice from May of 2014 is still open. I need to take care of this. we've been revamping the knowledge base, and so there are a lot of different knowledge base articles available that can also go over a lot of these different things. Okay, as you can see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is just off the top of our head that will be able to coach you through this to be able to post and reverse a payment for balance forward, how to post, apply, or reverse a payment to an open item, how to post a payment to a charge account by check or money order, and how to manage a customer's account. Now, how to manage a customer's account is going to show you how to manage the charge aspect of things, as well as customers in general, which is also going to help you dictate whether it's going to be best fit for a balance forward or an open item. So, going back into Paladin, what I want to show you guys so you get an idea, I actually printed out a couple different versions of these statements so you can see the difference. Here's what an open item balance, an open item account looks like. As you can see, this is the one invoice that is still open, so it's going to show that very specific invoice number. And then we're going to open the balance forward. And as you can see, it shows the invoices and then it shows a payment, which is simply deducting from the balance itself. A payment of $150 was made, which is obviously not the full amount. And then down here, it's going to show you still have $178.05. Okay. So at this time, that concludes the webinar, unless there are any other questions that you guys may have at this point.
Jenny, no questions at this time.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen. Make sure to go ahead and do the survey at the end and let me know how I can improve, absolutely. And next week, what we've got a webinar by CJ. He is our antivirus king, so to speak. He's going to be talking on security and all of our Paladin's managed antivirus and our managed services that we have up and coming. So thank you guys so much and look forward to talking to you soon.